rewarding as a coach to see individuals have that aha moment, because most of them, when they come to me and they're already like, okay, well, these are the areas that I'm weak in. And I say, okay, we're going to stop the deficit thinking, because now you're at a point in your life where you're getting ready to go through this journey where you're elevating yourself.
Yep.
And you're going to be putting yourself first.
Yep.
And that's something that people have to learn to do, because naturally, especially us women, right? Naturally, we put everyone before us. We're like, I'm a parent, so the kids come first. I'm a wife, so the husband or my wife comes first. You know, I'm a sibling, or I'm a child, and my parent is ill, so they come first. So we put all these people in front of us, and we forget ourselves on the back burner, and then we're burnt out, and we don't understand why. So it's really important to navigate through that and go through that process where you can identify, okay, these are my strengths, these are my growths. Now
Yep.
narrow let me narrow how my role plays into everybody else's life, so that I can see how I can schedule out the time for everyone, but also carve out this chunk of time for myself.
Yep.
You know, mhm.
Self-care. Self-care. We talked
Self
about that.
care,
Oh,
self care is so important. Self care is so important, and especially in the time now, right? We're in an era of wellness. If
mm-hmm.
anything taught us how much self care, mental wellness, just health wellness, all in general, the pandemic did that for us.
Yep.
The pandemic did that for us, because we know there was no church and state. I always say there was no church and state. You had your family in one room, and when you stepped out of that room, you was in the living room. It was work, right? And it was like your only silo was in the bathroom, but then you had a shared bathroom. You had to share with everybody else, right? So you couldn't stay in there for long. So it was like there was no balance. The lines were blurred. There was no turn off, no turn on and off switch, and a lot of frustration came out of that. A lot of anxiety and depression came out of that, for myself included, which definitely brought me to this journey of, let's help others navigate through that. Because I had an epiphany during the pandemic when I was like, okay, this is no longer working. I'm not in the classroom. I became ill, as I spoke before. I became ill, and just being from the go-getter and always on the go person, you know, a teacher, a dean, a dance instructor, a coach, like all these different things, a football mom, and then being told I was no longer able to do that because of a lung disease, a terminal lung disease, that was very startling, and it really took me to a deep, dark place. And navigating through that and being able to get to where I am now, it was really important for me to share that with others. And so that's why that birthed Gold Mine Thoughts. I've always been a coach. I've been doing this, like I said before, for 20 plus years. But the birth of Gold Mine Thoughts came out of my experience of, like I said, my trauma from my nephew being murdered, and then my trauma from my illness. All of that walking in one space, one area, right? There was no turn off
Yeah.
because there was no work to go to.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, there has to be other people out here who
Mm-hmm.
who are suffering from that type of trauma, and I wanted to be a vessel to help them navigate through those stages.
Mm. Well, thank you. I commend you for all the hard work and what you're going through, and you're still going and helping. You don't give up. I mean, where did you get your inspiration from to continue down this path of being so positive?
I would definitely say I am from a strong cloth of strong women, and a legacy of strong men from my father. You know, with my father and my mother's brothers, and my father's brothers. It was always instilled in me to be intentional with your words, and make sure that when you speak, you're speaking from a place of truth, you're speaking from a place of empathy, and you're speaking from a place of heartfelt intentions. And you're mindful that your impact may not be your intention. So it's important for you to think about how you would